So, Paul Norman, um, I wonder why you're here. If you're feeling insulted, why are you coming to this channel when I am a very small channel in a very small corner of YouTube? YouTube, which is a massive platform, and yet you're here feeling insulted. Um, Maybe you need to look in the mirror. I think probably 90% of my common commenters um, are supportive of my recent posts. So somebody needs to look in the mirror, but I don't think it's me. Um, I have been looking at Robert JF Jr., whatever his name is, Kennedy, and thinking, I'm not going to say the words that were about to come out of my mouth. I was looking at his history and looking and reading and understanding that at one point the Obama administration were thinking about him for a post, but felt that his history with cocaine and heroin would not sit well with them, so they didn't choose him. He's picked up the autism and MMR stuff, which just encourages people not to vaccinate their kids against measles. The doctor who was barred in the UK for spreading that misinformation has been feted in America. So I've been looking at that. Between us, were chatting at lunchtime. We went out for lunch, had a nice lunch, chatting about how long it will be before the explosion begins, because I think, is it January 12th, inauguration day? I haven't looked at it recently. I think it might be January 12th. And it's now the 14th or 15th of November, so we're 2 months away. And I'm wondering how long before the fallout begins. How long before they have a fight? How long before Trump tells people you're fired? And whether they'll actually make it to inauguration day in the same way, the same form that they're in now. I've also been thinking about that. What happens with a Trump regime is when groups form, you get forming. So the group theory, and I can't remember the name. I think it might be Irvin D. Yalom. I think it might be him. Group theory is when you join a new group, there's a process of this. So you're joining, and then you're storming. So there's a storming process that goes on before you're norming. And the Trump presidency last time never really got to norming. It carried on storming. And the difficulty this time is, last time the people around him were pretty wise men and pretty knowledgeable about their positions in politics, and knew the protocol and were politicians or military. So that was perhaps less pronounced. This time you've got a lot of personalities there, a lot of people who are personalities in their own right, who are going to not like having their limelight shadowed, and who are going to want to shine. So I don't think that there will ever be norming. I think it will always be storming. And so and after norming comes performing. So yeah, I'm going to be watching with interest um, to see how that goes. Whether this current choice that he's making, which seems to be going against the grain in some ways, choosing during a recess, trying to shortcut things, trying to take away the um, checks and balances. I don't know whether he'll get away with that, but I'm watching with interest. Um, and that's why I talk about it, Paul Norman, because it's interesting. And when you're on the outside of it, which I am mainly, it looks clearer to me than those of you that have been drinking the Kool-Aid. Um, and the reason I speak out, or one of the reasons I speak out, is in solidarity with the women who have had their, are having their human rights stamped on by Roe v. Wade being um, taken away, by the Supreme Court, women not allowed to have abortions but being made to give birth, women who may be giving birth to a baby from an incestuous relationship with their father, their brother, their uncle, their grandfather. So, it's all very well being anti abortion, but what are you going to do about that poor baby when it's born? It seems that we'll support you to have a baby, we'll encourage you, we'll make you have the baby, but we're not going to support you afterwards or the baby. I think you're probably MAGA. And I hope that you're able to see what's happening to women. Women are rising up. Women rose up during the run up to the election, and they're still rising up because they are so threatened by the Trump administration regime. I'm going to call it a regime because it's going to be a regime. Project 2025 that people keep poo-pooing. And the thing is that many MAGA women who voted for this, who voted for Trump, who voted for this government, are not going to be treated any differently to any other woman. So if they think they're immune, they're as dumb as I thought they were. They're not immune. They're just women. To these men, women have no value. So whether you're a MAGA woman or a Democrat woman or whatever, you'll all be treated the same. And your wants and needs and human rights will be ignored. Nick Fuentes, who started the meme of your body, my choice, had to run away back to mummy's house because he was doxxed, and mum's address now is out there in the internet thing that I can't remember the name of. So women will not lay down and have you do that. Women will not lay down and be treated that way. And you need to be really worried. You need to be really worried. This is not going to happen. And I've started to look at Germany, who are the snap election called for the 25th of February. I've started looking at that. That's quite worrying. It's not at the moment in terms of the very weak coalition is not a worry at the moment, but it depends on what happens to the weak coalition with the election. I just wish that we could have Angela Merkel back. She was such a steady hand. There was no, it felt very safe with her, and it doesn't feel safe any longer. And of course, Germany is on the border of France. It was Germany and Hitler who invaded France 80 years ago. More than 80 years ago. And, there's lots of stuff been around at the moment because of Armistice Day about lest we forget. Well, I think a lot of people have forgotten. A lot of people have forgotten, chosen to forgotten, don't give a shit. And there's a lot of people that don't care about other people. The compassion in the world has, oh God, I'm lost between the French and the English word now, has diminished. Incredibly diminished compassion. And I don't understand that. I really don't. So we, for the last 3 nights, have been closing the shutters because it's cold sitting here now. I've got a hot ear because that's in the sun. and it's beautiful, beautiful bright blue sky, but it is very cold, and the temperatures at night are dropping. So we're closing the shutters up when we put the chickens away. So by 6 o'clock, we're all closed up. And I said to Mark last night, I said, there's something quite um, psychologically, it feels cozy. It feels. I don't want to feel secure and safe because I don't feel unsafe, but it felt psychologically comforting to have the shutters closed, and he felt the same. So that's intriguing. And it's not like I don't feel safe or comforted here, even with the shutters open. But it just feels nice to close up at night, and I can't explain it. I can't put it into words, but there's something comforting about it. So we'll do that again later because it's going to be cold again later. We've got a full moon. So we came back from physio yesterday. It was at about, I don't know, nearly 5 o'clock. It was a massive moon on the horizon. I don't normally see the moon on the horizon because we don't see the horizon from here because it's way behind all those trees. But because we were coming along the road there, I could see the horizon, the massive moon, but it wasn't full, I don't think, last night. I think it might be tonight that it's full. I closed our bedroom shutters to keep the full moon out because it's so bright. It's like daylight, and I thought it'd be quite nice to have it really dark in there. So I was still awake at 7. Mark didn't wake up till 9, but yeah, so that's that. Hope you're all well, and thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks to the new subscribers. I've still got some way to go to 3,000, but if you want to, feel free. And Paul Norman, go and look at something else. Go and look at things that support your view. Don't come and look at mine and get insulted. Nobody told you you needed to.